this is not as easy as it looks. And there's only 7 people watching this, so I think it probably doesn't matter that you can see my microphone and that the top of my head is very possibly missing. So I got these out because yesterday I went to Legoland Windsor for the first time this season. So it opened at the weekend and I went on 17th of March. It was St. Patrick's Day, but it's Windsor. There's, you know. So it's the start of the season and I want to spend my non-working days doing something fun. And I do think my boss suspects I do work part-time because there are other things I'd rather do than work for him, and he is absolutely right. Now, I got an annual pass last year, which was mostly to work through a phobia I have had of roller coasters, and that's definitely working. It definitely does the trick, but I also got one because we were all going through a rough patch at the office, and I felt like I needed to appreciate that I do have a part-time job that pays as well as a full-time one, and I should really value those days off that I have. So anyway, I drove to Windsor, which takes about an hour. Now I have an old 2016 Renault Zoe, and it has a range of about 80 miles, which is fine. But I knew I'd have to charge once I got there, and that's no worries. Right, it's a Premier Parking. It's included in my annual pass. So no, it isn't, not anymore. Merlin have just pulled that perk, and according to the park staff, this was a very last minute decision. That's no big deal, right? You can just park in the regular parking. That's still free, or you can just cough up the money, which is what I had to do. But there are no charges in the regular car park, and I think this is going to be an ongoing issue. Some people do choose to drive very long distances to Legoland, and while I would personally, I'd rather meet my own feet than do that with a car full of arguing children, some of those people will be using electric cars, and those people are going to want to plug in when they arrive. But what I expect to happen is tired, frustrated guests will then take it out on the park staff, because the £20 of Premier Parking is yet another cost on top of those tickets, the food and everything else. And since they're already paying for the electricity, it really does feel like you're being squeezed just that bit more. Now, I will be getting the train next time as it's cheaper, and I have that option, and I hate driving. I find it very boring, but I accept other people make weird decisions, and apparently they don't mind listening to their children fight, vomit, wet themselves in the back of the Kia for hours at a time. That's probably just my own childhood holidays coming back. But anyway, I went into the park, and my initial impressions were that Merlin has spent no time during the winter doing anything to Legoland Windsor. There's still blobs of fake snow around from winter events. There's chip paint in the queue lines, and the point where bored kids peeled off some of the vinyl and minifigure speedway, that vinyl is still peeled off. It's quite funny, on Laser Raiders queue line, they've done a Lego recreations of chipped, weathered statues and walls, and there are chunks missing from the plaster on the wall in the queue line that no one's bothered to touch up, which I'm not an expert. I don't think that's a big job, but it hasn't been done. Now, the Jolly Rocker, which is their pirate ship, the swinging ship ride, that definitely needed a jet wash. In fact, most of the park did look kind of tired and in need of a spruce up, which, you know, same, but no one's paying £35 a head to visit me or my house. But moan over, the good things I saw were they now have a food offer for pass holders, which is, it's £10 for a main, for an adult, £5 for a kid, which I think is a really good step in the right direction. It's far better than I think it was £19 for a burger and chips that I saw last year, which now I got a Morrison's meal deal. I'm not paying £20 for a very average burger. The staff were really nice. I always found them to be very good. At Legoland, I think you've got that extra layer in a park like Legoland where you are going to have to deal with a lot of kids, and a lot of kids who are excited, upset, lost, misbehaving. There was a child at Minifigure Speedway who I saw with a big school group. Everyone got on, everyone boarded the 2 trains, and she went pale, she burst into tears, she ran away. and she ran away down the entrance queue line, which I know you're not really supposed to do, but I did see the staff really on it. I saw them communicating with each other, making sure that this kid was intercepted, that an adult was found. You know, not everyone is going to want to go on roller coasters, and I think this kid was, I know, in year 6, so 10, 11, and she was upset, she was scared, she chickened out at the last minute. That's fine, it's not compulsory. And I was glad to see that the staff were on it. Right, someone go find out where that kid has gone, tell the teacher, because the teacher was already, you know, the lap bar was down, she wasn't going anywhere. So that was something I appreciated that I saw, and I'm sure that happens constantly every day, and they've got to be on it, and I think that they were. And the shop as well. So there were some nice spring themed things in the shop, like this daffodil set, which I got for my daughter because she was mad that I went without her, but she's at school. And she does like these, as you can see. These are these plant sets, the flowers. She really likes this sort of thing. So I think this was $12.99, and I think it's a nice addition. These are cute little things, nice little gifts to buy, and I get a 20% discount with my annual pass, so that was pretty good. They had some nice wallets, nice backpacks with like floral motifs, and when you look closely, they're Lego, so I got one of those, but I haven't got it here to show. Now, that's my final thought, which is raised to me a few times, is it weird for an adult like me to go alone to Legoland? Now, personally, I don't think so, but I would say that, yes, I agree. It's the kids' park. It's very much aimed at children, at families, and there's not many actual thrill rides there. You've got Minifigure Speedway, which is an excellent set of dueling coasters, and the Dragon, which is kind of just a classic sort of junior family coaster with a dark ride element. And it's really fun. It needs a jet wash, and the animatronics were really out of sync when I went, but you know, I was all finished by lunchtime. I'd done as many rides as I wanted. If you want to know how many times I can go on Minifigure Speedway in a row without needing to throw up, I'd say it's 4 times, because there were no queues. It was really nice to just walk on everything, and the staff let me. They said, "Oh, can I stay on for another go?" They said, "Fine." But what I would say is, if you're going alone to a theme park for a weird reason, yeah, that's weird. Perhaps you go to vape in the bushes, like they all seem to do at Chessington. Perhaps you go to shout at your children or your partner, which I think a lot of families go to Disney to really strain their marriage and their relationships. But, you know, if you're going and you're going to go enjoy some rides at the start of the season, I mean, I don't see a problem. Realistically, who's going to know if you're alone in the park while you're lining up for a ride? Maybe your partner and kids are sitting this one out. Maybe they're on the loo. Maybe they've gone to spend £5 on a coffee at Costa because they haven't been able to taste anything since COVID. Who cares? I think as long as you're respectful, you aren't actively elbowing children out of the way, I think that's fine. And next week, I'm going to Chessington, and I have actually rustled up some company for that trip, so my daughter and her friends can just go shush. They've chosen to go to school instead of coming with me, which is fine. I get fined if they don't go to school. And well, we'll update with what happened at Chessington. And other than that, thank you for watching. If I press this, I think it might play. Well, we'll see.